When we're talking about losing a tooth early, we have different things we could do for that. And the main thing is using a space maintainer appliance. The main one that we do is a single tooth replacement. And why would we do that versus just leaving it open? It all depends on the stage of growth and development for the child and which tooth it is. So we don't do space maintainers for front teeth. There's just really not a need for it. But for back teeth, for the molars, we typically do those. We place a space maintainer if it's lost too early. So we always are assessing the entire environment, the child, the stage of growth and development in their mouth, for the tooth position. How long is it going to be until that permanent tooth is coming in? What teeth are in front of and behind that? How stable are the jaws and the bite? These are all things that we're considering before we go ahead and make the decision on a space maintainer. So yeah, it's definitely a customized approach and something that was a great benefit, because if we have the right situation, we determine the need for a space maintainer, and we don't, what do we risk is the tooth behind it pushing forward and closing off the space for the developing permanent tooth. Then we've created a bigger issue and concern for orthodontics later on. The front teeth typically are pretty stable. They're not really traveling forward. The back ones are, and especially during growth and development stages for children. So that's why we see it for kids. We don't do it for adults, right? Obviously, it's a completely different scenario, but when the jaws are developing and other, like the permanent molars are going in, they don't just grow up straight, they actually push forward too. So if there's nothing to stop them, they will push and travel and make things move forward in the mouth there. That's why you put a space maintainer to keep it held back there. The appearance of the space maintainer is a fun thing to me, actually. It's silver, it's stainless steel, okay? And how I see it myself, and even how my kids, my patients see it too, is it's the same as like a silver crown, a silver tooth, right? So kids actually love it. Kids themselves love it. They say, "Oh, it's my robot tooth or my superhero tooth," or so. It's very rare, almost non-existent, that a kid doesn't like the look of the space maintainer in there. It's typically mom or a caregiver, but the kid themselves, they can care less. Sometimes they actually love it and they'll share it with their friends. It's something to talk about. So the appearance of the space maintainer is not an issue for kids. When to place a space maintainer or when to hold off is really the question we're talking about. It depends on, once again, the age and stage of growth and development for the child. Take into consideration, what tooth are we talking about? How old is the child? We take into consideration what's called dental age. So that differs on calendar age too. So you can have a child who is 7 years old, but they have the dental age of a 5-year-old or even a 9-year-old. So it can vary quite differently. So we always take that into consideration, see, once again, how long is it going to be for the permanent tooth to come in? Do we have stability in the dental arches? Do we have enough permanent teeth that are in there that are going to hold things together? If so, and it's not going to be that long until the permanent tooth comes in, I'm not going to place a space maintainer. There's really no need for it. But if it's going to be a while and things aren't stable enough, there's a real benefit for placing a space maintainer. And that's when I'm making the call to put one in. Placing a space maintainer is actually one of the easiest and therefore one of the most fun things that I do. By itself, it doesn't require any numbing, but typically the kid is numb because we've done an extraction on the same day. So it's really a two-piece kit that we have. We have little metal bands that fit around the anchor tooth that's behind the extraction site. And we just size and fit that to find the best fit. And then there's another little piece that will span the gap between the space of the teeth there. And we are able to customize and then fix that space and then cement it in. So it is a semi-custom approach to placing in there. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. All the kid feels is like a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pushing. It's not a painful nor a long procedure to do. With these space maintainers, you're just brushing around it. You're not flossing because the area is open, the gums have healed over, nice and smooth. So you're just brushing around it. Coordinating with an orthodontist when we're talking about space maintainers, I would say that typically if I've gone through the diagnostic process and figured out that the child does need a space maintainer, in those scenarios, I'm just going to go ahead and place it because I see a definite need for that. And I know enough about orthodontics, although I'm not an orthodontist, where I know this is the right situation and right scenario to place it. Now, there will be times where the child may be a little bit older and they have more complicated orthodontic situation than just a single early loss of a tooth. It's at those times that I'm definitely going to involve my orthodontist friends. And I'm not going to place a space maintainer, even though I see a need for it. I would refer them to the orthodontist and say, hey, what do you think? This kid has more going on. I see the definite need for braces later on. And then I let the orthodontist do their evaluation and speak into the question of, does this kid really need one, or are they going to benefit from a space maintainer? Or is it better left out and just treated comprehensively by the orthodontist later on?